Okay, so this is one topic that will not talk about LLMs and Gen AI in today's session, because I have seen the agenda today, and it's, of course, rightly as it said, is India's biggest Gen AI developer summit, so it is expected. Having said that, we are also working on that, but my key focus of this talk is that to show how something really good AI project or ML projects being used in real business scenario. I will talk about the scenario, what I was going to talk about. And at the same time, we are also working on building a interesting LLM use case. Probably in my next topic, next MLDS, I might talk about that. Okay? But because it is not yet success, so I'm not going to talk about that. Now, before I start, this is my company. People might be thinking, what is Sensory Reply? So anything you see all around, right? This is actually us. We are the largest player in this segment in India. So all this wooden product, anything that you see, in fact, in your home, also it might be there. So this is what we do, and we have business all across India. So with this context, you may be thinking that, okay, it's a Desi company here, so what they will be doing in AI and all. So having said that, I just wanted to build the context a bit. Yes, we are a Desi company, and we sell products like this kind of stores, right? Now you can think about like this. So I am showing you two scenarios. One is the groceries, that Kirana stores that you can see any nook and corner of India. Similarly, those hardware stores. Then on the down below, you will see some below modern stores as well for the same format, right? So this is interesting because everyone has a different perspective of selling our products based on their need, their requirement, which we need to understand. Correct. Now the problem is that these are millions in number in India. If you want to know the count of grocery stores, I think it is about 18 to 20 million stores across India. We have grocery stores in such kind of grocery stores across. This is the universe, right? Now, to build a model where we can pinpoint and say that this is the right product that you need to sell at the right time, that is the big question mark. Now, to do that, what we need? We need a person like Rocket Singh. How many have seen this movie? Right? So this is what we are trying to build, so eventually. Like how we can bring that Rocket Singh behavior into our selling process, considering all these dynamics of different type of stores across India, and different needs, and I'll talk about that as I'm going ahead. So what does it mean? Like for a normal Kirana store person, my actually head is a little small, it's not fitting up. So anyway, what important point for him is that he needs his product at the right time, in right quantity, and right type of product. Okay. What does it mean? So he's a small shop owner. He do not want to stock items unnecessarily, and he also wants to stock only those required item and at the required time. Otherwise, he will lose business, or otherwise his money will be just locked. It's a working capital loss for him. And for my Rocket Singh, for him it is needed that, okay, if I have to go to that store, I need to know that what that store guy might be buying from me, or I might be able to sell it to him. And while doing so, it should be very easily executable for me. At the same time, it also should help me earning my incentives and targets and whatever linked KPIs for his performance, right? So that was his need. Now, coming to the organization, they only look for profitability, earning, revenue, blah, 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 all these things, right? So ultimately, whatever you say has to link with how much money I'm going to earn from the organization perspective with the profitability. So from this context, So it's from this context, what is coming up, that first part is entire ecosystem need, which involves my salesman and those stores. And the below part, as I told you, this is the organization needs. Now, in summarizing, all three teams, my channel partners, my sales team, my organizations, they work for a certain growth, and that eventually should give some money in terms of profitability, in terms of revenue, or in terms of cost cutting, whatever it is, right? So let's get into a little deeper. So what I'm going to talk about, it is purely based on what we all know about recommendation engine. Its form basis is the same form, but how we are deploying it, that is what I am going to talk about here. So for this type of store owners, so he always keeps very limited SKUs. He may not be keeping for one certain company, he may be keeping 10 to 12 type of SKUs in his stores. He does not want to keep it more. But within that assortment of 10 to 12 SKUs for a particular product, so question is that what is that right, first of all, right assortment, and then secondly, that through that, how we can also look about my other cross-sell, upsell opportunity. So that is the idea here. And for the salesman, so as I mentioned earlier, his point of view is that how easily I can sell it, how much incentive I'm going to take it. And then while selling so, how I can also gamify his selling process so that he gets some bit of motivation and encouragement as well. So those are the things we are also trying to build in here. Then there are many other aspects which I am not going to touch upon, because there are other aspects like new product, how we can introduce new product, how we can bring pricing strategy, price packs, architecture. Those I'm not talking about here. These are all another growth drivers. Now, with this context, what I am going to talk about, that what it is required. The three aspects here. One is, of course, the ML part, which I'm going to talk about more in this discussion, which is definitely required, and I will talk a little bit detail on that, slightly little, not very detail. Then once it is developed, how it is to be integrated with tech integration. I'll touch upon that at the end, and then how we can simplify the execution. These two aspects I will touch at the end of the discussions, maybe briefly. But having said that, this is the three pillars that is required for any successful implementation of this kind of real business problem. As we all know, India is changing. This is a district clusters of India in terms of affluency, and actually this is a multi-point poverty index diagram. So how it is changing over the years. So now the point is that whatever we are building, we have to tap in mind this diversity, what is happening in India, and how we can bring that diversity into our my modeling approach, right? So that is the point what I would like to highlight here. Just to give you one more closer look, even if you look at our Bangalore, these are all neighborhoods that are available in the Bangalore district, and you can see on the below where we have those affluency clusters in terms of household income, then new ongoing upcoming infra projects, and likewise, right? But the point what I want to make it here, that same city, same city, but in different neighborhoods we have different types of infra development, affluency, behavior change, and all these things are available. So these are known things, but I just wanted to put a thought in the process so that it will help me in explaining my next discussion. Now, based on that, any shops in Koramangala, Avalandur area, as against, let's say I'm talking Binya here, don't take any offense here, don't take it otherwise, but if you look at these two area, we understand that in these areas, there is a probability of having high affluence shopper means you and me, who may try out more premium products than the other locality. So, but the question is that we, as a company, as an organization, how I can tap into this diversity, because I have my product range across all, and I cannot sell everything everywhere, because that is also not beneficial for me, right? So that is the point here. And based on that, what we have segregated, we have done entire pan-India into largely, of course, urban and rural segment. Now, within urban, in this case, there was about 1.6 million stores we have considered, about 16 lakhs stores. Out of it is almost 50% urban and rural divided. And within urban, we brought in two aspects, algo, in terms of how I can push my premium products based on that affluency, diversity, what we have just seen. And along with that, what is that, along with my core product, what is that next best other options also we can sell? So that is the next product, best product called I was talking about, looking at historical pattern and various other factors. So these are the two aspects within the urban segment of my customer profiles we have used. And for rural, it is we made it little simplistic. Only RFM-based approach we have deployed here because diversity is still evolving in rural sector in India. But maybe we may have to upgrade that modeling approach also very soon. But there is a third box you can see, must sell. What it means that certain products, as an organization, we always want to sell, always want to push because of various reasons. It could be our most prominent visible product, which we do not want to lose as a site. Secondly, it could be some new product that we are going to launch, because for them, we do not have any history, anything. So we may have to push it through a must sell approach. This is just a rule-based. Okay. Now, for the premiumization perspective, what we did, it is we focused on the very specific products and looked at the targeted some cities to start with. And if you can look at here one thing, that if you look at the number, average sales per store is just about 2,300 to 5,000. Actually, it ranges around 5,000, 2,300 to 5,000 to 7,000 rupees per month of product products get sold. But it is a huge number. It's in millions eventually. That becomes quite big eventually. Now, from the premiumization perspective, what we have started with simple clustering approach. Of course, clustering is the starting part everyone does. Then went into the typical recommendation engine based on that collaborative filtering approach, then cosine similarity based approach, where we have brought in that item to item, then customer to item perspective. What it means, what are those similar items getting bought together, and what are all the customer segment coming together and buying those similar items together. So that part of clustering we have done here for entire universe of 1.6 million stores that we had in our arsenal, in our go-to-market strategy. And we have done this actually not exactly only India specific. First, we have divided India into northeast, south, west, these 4 regions. Within the region specific, we have done all this approach. Just to give you perspective, what we did, we had all our historical performance in terms of our sales performance, sales transaction, percentage of sales that being coming from certain product as against other products. Various features we have derived from this. Sorry. Then we also have brought in some bit of external data, which I have not shared here in details. Just I will talk about at a street level. In fact, nowadays at a street level, village level, or at neighborhood level, we get data in terms of how much people are spending, how much they are overall spending in various activities in terms of food, restaurant spend, movie spend, shopping, and all these things are available. And based on that, what is the discretionary versus non-discretionary, all these expense parameters also we brought in. Then all other economic activities, that I know that where are my stores are there, we have entire lat-long information in terms of, we did a geocoding of across our stores across India. And based on that, we also leverage in terms of certain radius of 100 meter, 500 meter, 1 kilometer, what all different other stores are available in vicinity of my store, okay, and what type of those stores. Then all the other urbanization activity in terms of anything new, mall coming, movie theater coming, and likewise, all these things we also identified, or whatever, not only upcoming, but what are all existed also. That also we have figured out here. And we also brought in some of the mobility index to look at the people's movement, and because that also gives an economic indicator about the localities where our stores are there. So based on that, we have done the entire clustering. K prototype was used here. And we have actually got 7 clusters, but our focus was on this first 4 because of the purchasing power perspective. You will see that last but below row. So these are the clusters which we have focused. And this covers about our, I would say, close to 80% of our business is covered by these 4 clusters. Okay, loyal affluent, emerging affluent, churning low density affluent. What it means basically, loyal affluent and emerging affluent are like, loyal are basically they are more inclined to our products. We have that information in terms of some bit of consumer insight research. We have that idea. Similarly, emerging was upcoming locality and all. And churning ones are largely, they do not have any loyalty. Today they might buy our products, tomorrow they might buy my competitor's product. So those are like those churning category of end consumer. Now, based on this, what we did, okay, this is a little difficult to read, but I did not find any better way, but I will just tell you what we did. So each row is one store, each row, and those columns are 1 to 50 that you see. Those are actually our top 50 products, premium products, okay? So for each of the stores that belonging to that particular clusters, what I have shown in the previous slide, based on that, we figured out what are all those products they typically already being getting sold, plus what is their affinity to getting sold further premium products. Those are basically those red dots. Okay, so let's if you look at the second row is one store. It has almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 15 to 20. Out of that 50, almost 15 to 20 premium products, probability of selling those premium products are there. So that is what basically this graph is depicting. And at the same time, if you look at this plot, we also identified few areas. If you look at the middle one, so top ones are like, those are top 20 products we are definitely should be pushing for sold because those are premium ones. And the middle one are like, those are, I would say those are potential premium because from the clustering algo and and their historical performance significance. So they fall in the category they may be sold if we push some bit of selling strategy by our salesmen, or may not be. But we still identified those because in this kind of business, there is one point we need to understand that although we may talk about Gen AI, LLM, and many other technology that may be given to the salesperson, ultimately it is a relationship what he has with that customer. That is what matter a lot in the final selling process. So that is the reason we also kept this middle part as part of the premium product recommendation to give him an idea. Okay, if you have a good selling skill, you can push for this product portfolio as well. So this is what this graph means. Now, coming to that is what about our entire premiumization perspective. Okay, this is how the premium products are identified and being shown and distributed across each store lines. Now, from the next best product perspective, what we did, we have, I'll skip this graph. This is the framework of the entire implementation process. What we did, so this is a combination of heuristic as well as some bit of XGBoost-based classification approach. So we have identified top 60 product group, which are being typically based on the buy value, which are being important for us. And for all those stores which are other than premium product, for the other products, the normal product range, other than premium, for those stores, and we check these 60 top product groups, how much they're falling under typical buying or non-buying category in last 12 months. Okay. Based on that, um, if it is they are falling under bot category, that in last 12 months, at least once or twice they are being sold in those stores. So we have brought in this quantity and penetration algo. Quantity means how many of that segment of 60 products should be pushed to sell in those particular stores. And penetration is how many stores, what all those respective stores we need to sell it. So this is what these two bucket is defined. And for those products which are not coming under in any being not sold in last 12 months, for those we have taken some bit of heuristic approach, some bit of rule-based approach to say what also can be sold as part of core portfolio. Okay. So this is about that next best product called algorithm. Now I'll not get into detail of this. This is some output of how it looked like. This is, as of now, I'm showing the Excel kind of output only just for simplicity. What we had afterwards, this is again some bit of model evaluation. We are for this project, for this engagement, recall is one of the criteria we're looking for, where we are looking at least maybe 65-70% above of recall could be good for business to take it forward. And so this is until here the entire my algo works. Okay. So I'll skip one thing. I will skip, which is the rural part. Rural part I'm not considering here because that is RFM based approach, recency, frequency, and monetary based approach, which is very well known. Now, having said that, once the idea of recommending for type of product, looking at my premiumization opportunity, looking at my profitability, how this needs to be sold, right? That is the eventual thing that it has to be executed. So for that, we have also developed that, of course, mobile-based, everyone nowadays use, app where they are all, along with their sales activity, we have pushed all our recommendation portfolio to that mobile app. It is very simplistic at this moment. Probably near future, all this LLM will play on top of here eventually. And there it is very simplistically it is feed for each store. If you get into that store, it will tell these only talk about this SKUs. Okay, and then he doesn't have to look at anything. And based on that only he can go and talk, right? And based on that, what it also help him, like ultimately, how it will be helping, right? Ultimately, I'm giving him that list of things to be done, a list of product needs to be sold. But while doing so, I also am trying to help him in this 3E aspect. We call 3E framework for the salesman perspective. The economic perspective, emotional perspective, and ego perspective. Economic is basically, anyway, how much incentive he's going to win based on whatever I'm recommending, whether it is helping him earning or not. Then emotionally is that because he knows that if I follow this approach, I'm owning my earning eventually, right? So that is he is getting an emotional support in terms of some bit of financial support that he is going to get. He's almost sure. And ego part is of course it is kind of different way of people's ego can be addressed. It could be through good visibility, good reward and recognition approach, and all these things, right? So here, what we brought in also, we brought in the gamification approach, which another topic, maybe not for today. There are also lots of algo we have brought in, like while doing so, while doing such selling activities, he is not only selling for himself in his locality, he is also competing with his peer salesmen as well. And based on that competition, where he stands and how he may also get ahead of the others, those kind of nudges and levers also we try to push through this gamification approach. What he can do, what he cannot do, those kind of things also we have tried to push here. So based on that, what we have done, we keep one very simplistic approach, like for his earning perspective. This is also very important, right? So typically when all this high-tech behind the scene algo that comes into his mobile screen that he needs to follow that, there is always a question and pushback from the sales team. Like, why should I do it? What does it mean, right? And because he doesn't know how it will work, whether it will succeed, whether it will make him succeed or not. So that's why he kept his KPI very simple. We only told him, okay, last 12 months, I think which is in this case last 6 months. In last 6 months, if you are selling only 10 items in this store, through this next 6 months, you only sell 11 items, just one item more. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. So that gives him some confidence. Then he means, okay, it is not a big thing to me, because even if I am able to sell one more item, and I am getting good incentive, but at the same time, if you remember my premiumization algo, that one item I am trying to push my premium product. So I am also actually improving my profitability. So both way it is a win-win kind of situation. So that is how this is being implemented here, and it gives a good satisfaction. Eventually, okay, this I skipped this. I think there's some misalignment of my slides. This should have come before. So along with this, all the gamification approach, what I mentioned, right? Everything was built in, and then that KPI of just one extra SKU being put in. And afterwards, what is the impact we have seen? This is a real, by the way, this is a real impact, okay? This is being measured and validated by CFO itself. So this is a little bit slightly old, now it is slightly more. So out of 16 lakhs stores that you have seen, this is 750K, by the way. I probably missed out the unit here. 750,000 being stores were actually rightly being used through that recommendation engine at the end of December. And I think until 23, it was almost, it reached about 80% of total stores. It took some time. It's not very easy to implement such a big scale implementation across India so easily. And finally, we got about 8% incremental growth through this recommendation approach. That resulted about 2 million sales increment in just 3/4 times. Overall, actually, it came into news also last year. Overall, it actually provided about 10 to 12 millions of incremental growth until last year. So this is what the discussion what I wanted to talk about today. Maybe next time, on top of that, what are these all LLMs are working, that I can maybe talk about next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vargab. Anybody here with any questions for Vargab? We have our volunteers here with the mic. I have a small little question for Vargab. Yeah. Vargab, around like 4 or 5 slides back, there was a slide where there was a picture of a salesperson in a yellow t-shirt with spiked hair. Was that a real picture or AI picture?
I know, this is real picture in the sense, actually real picture.
Was that, so I'm confused. Was that a real picture or AI picture?
Real picture.
Real picture, huh?
Not AI picture.
Because if that was AI picture, I would have been like, man.
No.
Yeah, but the pictures nowadays look like that itself. Yeah. Anybody with any questions for Vargab? Yes, please, go ahead.
Thanks for the session. It was quite wonderful. So my question is for the last slide where you showed growth in the revenue, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was not able to see you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So my question is related to the growth in the revenue based on your approach. So my question is, sometimes the leaders would ask that this growth is not necessarily just because of the recommendations that you have given. So how do you segregate them?
So if you remember that KPI, +1, right? So for each of the stores, we have actually had done the comparison of growth in total number of stores, SKUs being sold post implementation of this algorithm. Okay, so that is what the defining factor. Keeping everything same. What I mean to say, keeping everything same. Entire other selling process is same. Same kind of bid planning is happening for the bid plan. I think you understand. I don't know how many of you understand. Bid plan is something like when a salesperson goes to different stores, if let's say this area, this Hosur Road area itself or Koramangala area, Koramangala one will be one locality, and there will be a defined way of going to different stores to do his selling activities. So every other process is being kept in same way. Only this is being implemented, and through that we could quantify that what impact it has had.
Anybody else with any? Yes, we have.
Yeah,
Sir here.
Bhargav.
Yes.
Yeah, Bhargav, it was a very insightful session. I have a question to you with respect to the sentimental analysis that you have shown in the slide. Because when we are talking about the Salesforce, sentimental analysis plays a very vital role.
Yeah.
How the seller is reacting with the customer. So how you have taken care of it in the clustering process, in your model actually?
So you are talking about sentiment of the salesperson's interaction with
With the customer.
the customer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one caveat here, from the clustering perspective, there are two aspects. One is we actually did the cluster based on consumers, not customers. Consumers are you and me, right? So from the consumer perspective, we did the clustering because I need to know where are those people where eventually my product will be consumed. From there, I brought in my customer section, which are my stores, all the retail stores and all. Then the play of that clustering of consumer with this customer started playing. And there, as you rightly say, there where this salesman and customer, which are my store owner.
Yeah,
that
consumer and customer. My question was wrong actually. Consumer and customer. The customer means the salesperson that you are selling to the
customer is a store, the Kirana store that you see.
Kirana store.
Yeah.
And the consumer is who is buying from the Kirana store.
Yes, correct.
The sentimental analysis, how you are...
Between customer and consumer you're talking about? Yeah, okay, that's a good question. There is actually we did a consumer insight study as well on that. So typically in any neighborhood store, they always have the known consumers. That is a given thing. And we from the consumer insight study, we have established that generally if there is if this is the neighborhood, and these are my Kirana stores, and 80 to 90% it is more likely that they will be buying from the nearby neighborhood store only. Now those consumer, if their consumer behavior profile in terms of purchasing power and all changing, then that customer store behavior also changing. He also will keep stocking such kind of items. Right? So that is how we linked it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll take one more question before our next session.
Thanks, Bhargav, for that talk. I just wanted to know, besides doing this sales optimization, what other areas is CenturyPly using AI and ML?
So at CenturyPly, I joined as CenturyPly very recently, about 1.5 years back. Okay, CenturyPly is very new. So this is one example I took from my previous organization. Now we are in the process of implementing in CenturyPly as well because business is similar. Okay. But having said that, to your question, we are our traditional business. We are starting with traditional things like customer churn and all these things. That was very have to do it. But based on now on the Salesforce, actually we are building a LLM ecosystem for us, our Salesforce. Probably by this maybe 6 months down the line, we should be able to provide one to them. What we are trying to build in. Our problem is in our CenturyPly. Problem is that we deal with even like carpenters and painters and all these people, right? And they are always flying people. They may walk today here, they may be sometime today there. Then when they have to meet them, the kind of questions they typically ask our sales team, it is always very difficult to keep in track. So from that perspective, we are starting with that knowledge bank basis one LLM use case for the organization. And beyond that, we'll bring in all other aspects.
Yeah, one last question here. So,
Who has the mic? All right, one last quick question.
Yeah. So how do we handle these cannibalization problems in kind of sales industries? For example, if you introduce a new product, so how would this sales of the product affect the existing product, the sales?
So there is that cannibalization effect also you have to keep in mind. Actually, I could not hear where this question came from. Yeah. There's lots of slides coming. Okay. So, okay, got it, yeah. So you need to look at the cannibalization aspect as well. What all product cannibalization is happening. And from there, you have to bring that gamification. But while doing so, you have to also keep in mind that cannibalization may be happening in this locality. It may not be happening in the other locality. So for that locality salesperson, the way you will define your gamification approach will be different than the other one. So those kind of things you have to keep in mind.
All right, there. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
that session, Varghab. Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very insightful session. Let's have a round of applause for Varghab, please.